NexLevel Conversations. I am Shantae, your host, and I am so glad you guys are joining us on today. Today, we are going to be talking about healing, rediscovery, and starting over, and how to turn our mistakes into opportunities. And I am delighted to have this young lady sharing the couch with me on today, or our chairs with me on today, Rickia Caraway of Second Chance Resolution. She is going to be sharing her story and her journey of how she went through healing and how she has rediscovered herself, started her business, and has now been helping younger women find a second chance and go on to live the life that they desire. Rickia, thank you so much for joining me on today, darling.
Thank you.
She looks so pretty in her purple, doesn't she, y'all?
Thank you.
So, Rickia, let's jump right on in. And we're going to pick up your story. We're going to kind of walk backwards. But you, at 17, you ran away from home.
Yes, ma'am, at 15.
Oh, at 15?
Yes.
At 15, you ran away from home. Why don't you walk us through a little bit about how that came about and how you got to where you are today and what it is that you're doing?
All right. So I ran away from home when I was 15 years old. I wanted to keep up with the Joneses. Like, what I mean by that was I wanted to do what my classmates was doing. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be a follower, if that makes sense. And my mother wouldn't allow that. So I was acting out.
You were hard-headed.
I was damn hard-headed.
As they used to tell us, you were smelling yourself.
Way too much. So I wanted to be grown. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't be grown under my mom's roof. Mm-hmm. So it was like, either I stay and follow her rules or I go out and do what I want to do. So I decided to do what I want to do. Mm. And that was the worst mistake that I could have ever made. I mean, it was a learning lesson, but it was also, I lost a relationship. Mm. And that's something that I had to learn and cope with as I got older.
When did you realize that I have made a mistake and I've lost something precious? Because that wasn't immediately.
Right. I realized that when I had no one to talk to. Like I couldn't call on my mom like, Mom, this what happened. What should I do? Like I had no one to run to. I had no one to get advice from. And like I feel like my mother was the closest thing that I had. So it's like, it wasn't there anymore. So everything I was going through, I had to hold it in. Mm. So
when you left home at 15, what did you do? How did you survive?
So when I ran away from home, I went to a friend's house.
Of course.
Staying out all night, partying, drinking at 15. I wasn't going to school. I mean, I was living my life. I was having fun. I didn't have no rules. I felt free.
Really?
I felt free, yes. I was just out there in the streets, surviving.
And how long did you do that?
I want to say I stayed at my friend's house for 2-3 weeks. And then that's when I decided, I was like, I want more. Like, I don't see myself doing this. So I immediately called my grandpa.
Ah, okay. Why didn't you call your mom?
Because I feel like my mom was still upset. And we haven't talked since I ran away from home. So it's like I knew she still had animosity toward me, and she still felt a certain type of way toward me. So I was like, okay, let me call my papa, because my papa always will welcome me with open arms. Mm-hmm. So I've been with my papa since I was 15.
Okay. And so you've left home, mm-hmm. and you got a little bit of the freedom. Mm-hmm. Realize that the freedom may not have been what it was all cracked up to be.
Right. Too hyped up.
And so now you're living with your grandfather, and you decided to go back to school.
Right.
And something else happened as this journey goes on, because how old were you when you ended up getting pregnant?
Ooh, I was 17 when I got pregnant with my firstborn. When I was with my papa, I kind of ran over him the first time, like, because my papa was so nice.
Yeah.
And He's nice. So I was still kind of doing what I wanted to do, being grown and, you know, still in the streets. I was supposed to be at school. I was supposed to be at work, and I'm out with boys. So
we've all been there.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that caused me to get pregnant at 17.
And so how was that for you? And because you're still not speaking with your mom at this time.
So no. So the only person that I had was my grandpa, his wife, and of course my mom's mom.
Okay.
That's it. When I got pregnant, I was with my grandmother at the time. Like, I was visiting her, my mom's mom. And I don't know, she got a weird phone call. I don't know. She was like, somebody told her I was pregnant. I didn't even know I was pregnant. So someone called her that was like, Rickia pregnant. So my grandma came, she was like, you pregnant? I said, no. So she was like, okay, I'm gonna go get you a test and we're gonna see. I took the test. It was clear as day. It was positive. So at that time, I was disappointed in myself because I feel like I wasn't in a position to raise a child at 17. And with my son's father, we wasn't together. So we was never together. So it's just like I had a baby out of wedlock. So I had to pick up the slack for him and myself. So raising a baby at the age of 17 and 18 was hard, very hard.
But you had your grandfather and you had your grandmother,
right?
And your step grandmother,
right. So without those, I don't know what I would do. They was a huge help. I had money, but I didn't have money. I had just enough money to get by. Those were my 3 backbones that I could depend on. And my grandpa pushed me to finish high school. I finished high school, and
good job.
Thank you. And right after that, we had a sit down conversation. He was like, what are you going to do? You have a kid. You need to be financially stable. Like, what are your plans? And from that point, I don't know. And I always had an interest in helping people. Like, helping people is something I love doing. So I was like, okay, I'll go into nursing. I'll test the waters with nursing. So straight out of high school, I went to nursing college, graduated as a medical assistant. I did that for 5-6 years.
Okay.
And I mean, that right there boosted me, like, financially.
Okay.
And I could finally get my first car, my first apartment. So I was excited, like, oh yeah, I love this. But I mean, after time, I've been doing it for 5-6 years. I got tired. I got bored of doing the same thing. I mean, I love what I do. I love nursing. I love helping people and, you know, connecting with the patients, but I got bored. And I feel like God was telling me that he want me to do something bigger.
Okay.
So, like, I started thinking about a bigger picture more than nursing, because nursing is 12, 14 hours a day. Like, I'm taking away from that. I'm taking away from my kids. I'm missing out on football and birthday parties and activities.
And you're the only parent that he has.
Right. So I feel like that was taking a huge part of my son's life, because he see other people playing football. He want to play football, but I don't get off work until like 8 or 9 o'clock. So it's like, either I'm going to work and provide, or I'm going to be a mother and, you know, give my son what he need, or what he want to do. So I had to make a decision. And my first little gig, I started selling eyelashes. Mink eyelashes. I mean, I loved it. I had to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
So I started selling lashes. I was going all around Oak Cliff, delivering lashes for $13.
Okay.
I mean, but it built up. I was shipping worldwide to Florida, Atlanta, Nebraska. I was shipping different lashes. So, I mean, I made pretty good money with that. And I'm like, okay. And then God said, I want you to do something bigger. I want you to help. I want you to use your story to help other people. So I was like, okay, so how can I use my story to help other people? And that's when I started trying to get into like the financial side, such as credit.
Okay.
I started working on my credit, which was it started at a 4 something. And now,
wait a minute, your credit started at a 4 something?
I mean, a 400 something. I'm sorry, a 400 something. So, and I kept getting denied, like for, I bought a cash card. My first card was a cash card because I couldn't get approved for like, go to a car lot and get like approved for a newly Nissan or like a car. So I had to buy a cash card. I kept getting denied and denied. So I was like, okay, so I can learn this and try to put my story into this and just change somebody else's life. So what I did was I started working on my credit, and I'm like, I started seeing a change in my credit, and I started getting like an interest in it. So I was like, okay. So every time I learn something about credit, I get excited and I apply it. And I was like, oh, it worked. It worked. My score went up like 43 points. So I get excited and eager. So I know if I can do it for myself, I can do it for other people. So fixing my credit allowed me to drive off the lot with a new car, get a luxury house, a townhouse, like anything I want. I can get due to my credit. So, I mean, it's just a good feeling for me. And I feel like I deserve that. So I made a big investment into learning the knowledge of credit.
Okay. And that's how your business came about,
right.
Second Chance Resolution.
Yes,
and tell us just a little bit about that, because we're about to go back, because I'm real nosy and there are parts of your story that I really want to break apart. But tell us just a little bit about Second Chance Resolution.
So Second Chance Resolution is my credit repair company I started back in 2021. Basically, I give other people a second chance to do something right that they should have did the first time around. So it gives them a new opportunity to start fresh.
Almost kind of like how you lived your life.
Right.
And so let me ask you this: at what age? And I know that you and your grandfather sat down and he asked you, "What are you going to do?" What was your mindset though? Had you really taken, especially as a young, because you're 17, 18 years old,
right? And
there's a lot of living there. When we get about 30 and stuff, we get a whole lot more mature.
Right.
And so were you in a mature mindset at this time? What was your actual mindset in feeling, still wanting to be young and go out, but having this level of responsibility and the weight of not having a relationship with your mother? How was all of that playing in your emotions?
So I knew all that partying and all that hanging out was done. Because my grandpa is not going to watch my baby while I go to a party, a club, or go anywhere. Like, that's not benefiting me. So I knew all that stuff was out the window. At that stage, I was not mature. I was just thinking a way to get fast money. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can work for corporate and, get paycheck to paycheck. Maybe that'll put a little boost in my financial problems. But never did I think that I was going to become an entrepreneur. So I was just thinking the fast route, which is getting a local job, a nursing job.
Okay. Because I know one of the things you have said to me off camera was that you love money. So you knew.
Right. Right. And I feel like nursing, they make good money. And on the side of, besides the money, it's like connecting with the patient. So I love educating my patients and just gaining that trust with them.
Okay. So what do you think has been the hardest part about your journey, and from the time that you left home at 17 to now? What has been the most challenging part for you about your journey?
I would say starting over.
Really?
Was the hardest part, because I had to build a foundation from scratch. With me being a foundation, I had to get myself together in order to carry weight. So I had to let go of all the hurt, the anger, everything that was bearing me down. So I can be that entrepreneur, so I can be a better mother, a better daughter, a better granddaughter. So it's like I'm starting from scratch as a new person.
So why don't you walk us through that a little bit? Because there are a lot of people that are in the place where you are now, and they are wanting to start over, and they realize the mess that they've made of their life. And how did you get to a point where you started saying, I need to let some things go. I need to forgive some people. It's time for me to move on and become bigger and greater?
So I had so much hate in my heart. I was angry. I was walking around angry at everybody. I had an attitude. I had a stank face. Like I had a I don't care attitude with everybody. And that's because I wasn't happy in the inside. I've been carrying so much baggage to where it's like people notice.
Do you think that is what caused you to run away at 15?
Yes. Yes. So when I was, I would say 6 or 7, I was getting molested multiple times by a family member. So with that, it's like, every time it happened, it's like it takes my self-esteem and it just snatches it out. Like life is just snatching out. So I was like, I was thinking like, I really have nothing to live for. Like I was on the urge of like, I didn't want to be here no more. And like my kids is the only thing that kept me going. So.
Okay, can I get some cleaning? I mean, some tissue or something? But don't you get me to cry. Don't you get me to cry. So let me ask you this. How did holding on to that anger and that silence limit you and your growth and your ability to move forward?
I feel like it took away most of my childhood and half my teenage years because moving around how I was moving, angry, being disrespectful, disobedient, I feel like it cost me half my life because I waited so long to come out and just tell my story. I held it in. I had no one to talk to. So it's just like, who can I run to? Who can I get advice from? My mother wasn't there, and I knew my grandpa, he's a man. So it's like he can't give me that advice because he didn't have to go through it. He's a male. So I needed a female role model or a female person that I can trust and call on to, I'm not going to say replace my mother, but to step in that spot that she wasn't in. So it was hard for me to find that.
And did you ultimately find it?
I did. After 25 years, I did. I cried out, I prayed, and I asked for help. That's what I did. And it's just, it felt like a big a weight off my shoulder. Like, I feel like a different me, if that makes sense.
It does. Okay. It does. And I love it. So let me ask you this. What type of things did you do and steps that you take to release yourself from the pain and break the silence and start to speak your truth? Like, what type of things did you do?
I cried, I prayed, I broke down, and I healed.
So what does that look like? What did that look like?
Crying all night, like not getting no sleep, not eating, staying in the house, not doing like little family functions. It's just like I was in a cave. I was trapped in my own little world.
So you're saying as part of your healing, you begin to come out of that.
Right.
You begin to
smile more, go out more, participate, and just interact. And it's just like a different me. I'm not angry. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. You know, I'm happy.
Okay.
I'm finally happy.
Okay.
So.
And you and your mom have rekindled or are working on.
Yes. So me and my mom are rebonding. We're trying to get that motherly daughter love and bond because I missed it. I really did. I feel like she missed out on a lot. Her grandkids, me, my accomplishments, like even today, it was last minute, but like I want my mom to be a part of my success. Like I want her to be like, oh, my baby girl doing this, she doing this. Like I want her to be able to witness the stuff that I'm accomplishing now. So it's like I miss that relation. I hate that it had to go that route, but I'm blessed and I'm excited for our bond now.
Your reconnection.
Right.
What type of, what's one thing that the decisions or the mistakes you've made in life so far has taught you? What is one thing that has taught you?
Don't be afraid to speak out and ask for help. Because I was too embarrassed to go to people and, just talk to people. I was embarrassed and I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want them to go back and tell the next person and people start looking at me a different type of way. So it's like, I'm going to hold it in. But as I was holding it in, it was damaging me in the inside.
How did you begin to realize this is actually hurting me and I'm not doing myself any justice? What was it that made you realize, okay, I got to stop this?
My attitude. My grandpa was telling me all the time, you need to fix your attitude. Your attitude is the nastiest part about you. He's been telling me that since I was 15 years old. So it's like hearing him steady repeat the same thing. I'm like, okay, it got to be something I'm doing. Like, it's got to be something that I'm doing for him to react the way he reacted. So I feel like all that I was hanging on to, it was making me act the way I act. So,
and you talked about the most challenging thing about starting over was rebuilding that foundation. What are some of the things that you've had to do to help you rebuild that foundation and start over?
I had to let go. I had to forgive, and I'm not going to say forget, but I had to let go and forgive. I had to talk to God a lot. I had to pray, and I just had to take it one day at a time and just continue to elevate and grow.
What have you discovered about Rickia that you didn't know before you started your healing journey?
I am a boss.
You a boss?
I'm a boss. Okay. I don't give up, and I keep going until I reach my goal or I reach what I'm trying to do, like my accomplishment. So I don't stop, and I keep going.
Okay. That's good. That's good. And because you are, and we're going to get into a little bit more about your business, but your family is a family of entrepreneurs, because your mom is a hairstylist and I know I'm telling you a story, but she has been in business herself your whole life.
Right. My mom and also my grandpa, he's an entrepreneur also, but I really admire my mom for being a single parent and being an entrepreneur, because now I understand. Back then, I didn't understand. I'm like, she never have time for us, or like, why is she doing this and not doing this? Why is she, I was just second guessing, because I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Even with her situation, I didn't understand it. So it's like, now as I get older and I go through it, it's like, now I know why my mom did this and why she did that. So it's like I said, it's a growing process.
That knowing, how has that now knowing changed you? Especially as let me redo that question. How has that now knowing changed you, first as a daughter and second as a mother?
So as a daughter,
you can come back to it.
Yeah,
I know I like to ask real hard questions.
So as a mother, I can relate because I'm a single parent. And I understand her frustration, her struggles, and her decisions. Like, my mom had to make hard decisions. So I feel, now that I'm older and I have to go through it, I feel it. Like, I understand everything that she did and why she did the way that she did it. I mean, she could have done it better, but I mean, everyone makes mistakes. So
and based upon and that's the thing that I always focus on. We make the decisions that we make based upon where we are and what we know and what we have to work with at the time that we make the decision. And that's the best that we can do. Mm-hmm. And I totally understand and get the, when you're young and you're a teenager, especially a female, and trying to relate with your mom and all of those hormones and that wanting to be free, it's hard to see life from her point of view. Mm-hmm. And once you become older, you look back and you're like, okay, I understand things that I didn't understand back then. Mm-hmm. And so it makes you a little bit, for me, it made me a lot more forgiving and understanding of my mom. And I was able to see her in a different light. Right. Let me ask you this, because your business is called Second Chance Resolution. When you think of second chances, what comes to mind?
Second chances, giving a person a second opportunity to do what they should have did. Well, not should have did, but giving them a second opportunity that they didn't get the first go around. Mm-hmm. So
a do-over.
A do-over. You might make mistakes the first go around due to lack of knowledge or lack of time, whatever it was. So I basically give you a fresh start.
Okay, and that's how you're helping. That's how you're helping people and helping women. Because is it just limited to women? Is your business?
No. So mainly it is single mothers or mothers, but I do men also.
Okay,
but my target audience is women, more women than men.
So how are you connecting with single moms and helping them rebuild and restart and just tell us a little bit about it and some of the success that you had doing that?
How I connect with them is I can relate. So we talk, my clients, I have to build that trust with my clients. Mm-hmm. They come to me, tell me their story, and I'm like, okay, you're not the only one that's been through it. I have too. So these are the steps that I took to get where I am today. Mm-hmm. So with that, I just gained their trust, and then we go from there. I give them a second chance, second opportunity,
And you're so young doing it. And I'm gonna tell you something. I think it's powerful, and I commend you, because it took a lot of women in my generation. It took us hitting our 40s and making a whole lot more mistakes. Right. Some of which 5-6 kids later and parents dead. Everybody has all different types of stories before we finally got it. Right. And begin to unpack the pain and the things that we were dealing with. Mm-hmm. And I applaud you, because you have done it at a young age, and you are moving in it. How do you stay committed to your healing and your recovery? What do you do on a daily basis to continue to stay in this positive mindset, this positive flow of healing, and not go back to angry Rickia?
Oof. I just take it one day at a time. And I try to do self-care, where I will maybe go get my nails done, my hair done, maybe a spa day, or just something for me to recoup, because I treat my job like a 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. So I work Monday through Friday, sometimes on the weekend. And it burns me out a lot of times, because like on a daily, I might have 10 to 15 consultations. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I had to learn how to balance my work and my life. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I'm at today. Okay.
And how are you enjoying motherhood?
I love motherhood. I love my babies.
Because you have 2 boys now.
I have 2 boys. Yes. I have a 7-year-old and a 6-month-old.
Wow. And you're raising them by yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
That, you know what? But again, hats off to you.
It's not easy. You're going to have some days where you want to lock them in a room and let them do whatever, just so you can regenerate. But I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love being a mother.
Wow. And when you left home at 15, did you think that you'd be right here?
No. I'll probably still be working at Sonic or like somewhere else. Not here. Not at all.
As we wrap up, and I want to thank you for joining us on today, because you've done such an amazing job.
Thank you. I did.
And I want you to think about this question as you're answering this next question.
Okay.
I want you to talk to that 15-year-old girl who's walking around angry and is considering running away from home. If you were talking now to your 15-year-old self, what would you say to her?
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. The streets gonna be there. The streets do not love you. Like you enjoy your teenage years.
Yes.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I missed out on a lot. Like senior proms, I missed out on.
You didn't go to your senior prom?
No. I was 9 months.
Oh, okay.
No. But I missed out on a lot of senior activities. I missed out on family function. I missed out on a lot. And that's something that I can't get back.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm starting fresh. I'm building that now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know what? I applaud you.
Thank you.
I applaud you. How can people connect with you?
Yes, I have a website, www.secondchanceresolution.com. I also have a Facebook and Instagram at Rickia Caraway.
All right. Rickia, again, I want to thank you for joining us on the couch today. I do appreciate you.
Thank you.
I love your story. And what can we expect from Rickia in the next 5 years?
A millionaire.
Speak it.
Yes.
And there you have it. We have been talking about healing, rediscovery, and second chances on today. It doesn't matter where you are in your life, what's going on. You can start right now. You can change your situation. You can reconnect with your family members. You can start today to mend any brokenness within your heart. Take Rickia's advice and understand that the streets don't love us.
Right.
And now is the time to rediscover yourself, forgive those who have hurt you, and start anew. Don't miss out any longer. Here at NexLevel, we love you and we are praying for you, and we thank you for watching.
I feel away.